first started writing for a new album, we didn't really envisage it being a double album. I think it just got to a point where we've been writing, and both Rich and I still had plenty of really good ideas, and we just kept going, and gradually the album evolved to a point where we had something like 80 minutes worth of music, even before we had, I think, The Shy Part 3. And it just became an organic process where it worked out that it was going to be a double album, and at which point Richard announced he had a concept, so I suppose you could probably explain that.
Yeah, it was a weird thing, you know, we decided let's do something a bit more progressive, and really from that moment the floodgates opened and we just started writing, and we couldn't really stop. It was really fun to be writing this music, to have all these great soundscapes and ideas, and I thought I was going to tell lots of individual stories with the song. I think after about 5 or 6 I realised that the whole album would be the story. You just have a story of either somebody's life or the story of a nation's life as a nation grows from something small into something big. And it was just great fun. I think we could have written another half an hour probably.
Yeah, well, it came out of the blue, I suppose. You know, I was as shocked as anyone that they decided to part company with Damien, or for whatever reason, and obviously I was going to say yes. After hearing the demos for the new album, it was a no-brainer, if you understand that. It was a great album, and I count myself very lucky to have been able to be the vocalist on this album.
Matt's constantly in our minds in many ways. You know, only in the last couple of days we were just sort of describing some of the really funny things that happened with him. And he was just a great character to have around, so I mean, there were many funny stories to tell, but as there are in many bands. But he's never forgotten. I think many fans view him as, you know, a really important part of Threshold still, you know, when they listen to those, I think, 5 albums that he was on. Got anything to add, Steve?
You know, I remember sort of memories of him in the band. He was great fun actually. And, you know, occasionally me and him we used to sit next to each other, you know, between sort of rehearsals and sort of you know, just little breaks in the gigs and just chat. And you know, he was a nice guy. Of course, he had his problems, like, you know, a lot of people do. But you know, unfortunately, that sort of got the better of him in the end. But you know, he was a really great guy and great singer. So it's a real loss to this world, I guess. So you know, he's been sort of immortalised in some ways in Threshold music. So it's some really good songs he's sung. Sometimes the fight gets a little too long. These are the moments when you fall out of love, and it's time to decide.
We did this festival in Holland in, I think, 2002 called Pospop, and for some reason he decided to climb up the lighting gantry, and it was a big gantry, really tall, maybe 5 meters or something. So he's climbed his way out. During the last song he's put the microphone in his back pocket, and then he climbs along the horizontal piece. So he's chilling it along like this, upside down, 5 meters above the stage. Absolutely crazy. Then he gets the microphone out to sing the last bit of it, I think the song was Paradox. And then he looked down and he thought, what the fuck am I doing up here?
By the time he took the microphone out of his pocket, we'd finished the song and we'd left the stage, so he was on his own. And he was probably way too heavy to be up there anyway. So.
Yeah, he looked down and he thought, I'm going to die. That was a typical day with me. you get all 5 of us in the room to do it, he's probably it. This might be the first time we ever did this.
We had great times when Pete was in the band and we had 2 guitars, but I think we always felt it wasn't 100% necessary to have 2 guitars. You know, one of us would always be playing the main part and the other maybe playing the same thing. And when it came to it and Pete decided he was going to do his own thing, we just thought, well, why don't we give it a go as a 5-piece? We don't really need 2 guitars. But then of course we discovered we do need 2 guitars in some places. So yeah, at the time when we got Glyn to rejoin the band, I just remember, you know, he was quite a decent guitar player and thought we'll kind of force him into playing as well as singing. so he covers all the parts. Some of the solos I do will maybe have a harmonizer on it inside the guitar amp, but you can't always rely on that to track the right harmonies. So in those places Glyn will play the extra guitar parts and sometimes some extra rhythm, and you know, we'll just see how it goes and you know, maybe add more parts later on. But you haven't really come up against any problems yet, have you, playing? So I think it works fine. I think you could probably say that as a different song for each band member. For me it's Snowblind because I love the way it's like a microcosm of Threshold, almost all the ideas and the sort of aggression and sort of melodic sense and delicate parts all mixed into one song. Are just something that I really love on that particular song. So that's my favourite. I mean, others will have different ideas.
Lost in Translation is a track that stands out for similar reasons to what Carl's mentioned, but I sort of hear them in Lost in Translation. So many threshold sounding moments, you know, everything is different parts from over the thresholds, I'd say, and it just sums up the band for me, Lost in Translation.
John Geary was the main lyric writer on all those early albums, and he didn't write love songs. He wrote about the environment, he wrote about religion, spirituality, life songs, and he set the bar really high, I think, for us in terms of our writing. So when Glyn came in, when I came in, we did some writing. You knew you weren't going to write a love song, you're not going to write a pop song. You have to put some thought into this and make it something intellectual. So I really thank John for that. He stretched us as writers. And we just carried on ever since. And it's really fun to write. You've got to research your subject, you've got to really say something that's got some value. And it makes it more fun.
Our influences made us into a very kind of an organic sort of sounding progressive metal band. We didn't really know the progressive metal scene when we started. The only reason we ended up there is because, yeah, particularly myself and Nick Midson at the beginning when we were writing, we liked sort of metal bands, Testament and Metallica at the time, and John Geary, who was the kind of the main lyricist, as Richard said, he was really into Rush and Genesis and Pink Floyd and the progressive side. So because we were friends, we kind of put our influences together, and that's what came out. And shortly after that, there was a progressive metal scene, which was quite lucky for us because we were there at the very beginning. And that's how we managed to get a deal and start releasing the album. If it was today, we'd be quite different, I think, because we would be aware of that scene. But it was just literally the blending of the styles that we liked. And that's what we ended up sounding like. And I think Threshold have hopefully a kind of an identifiable sound as their own area of progressive metal, because I think it's quite different from those sort of bands that you mentioned in terms of sound.
Because they have the same influences, but they put the influences in a pot and they mix it totally differently.
It's the first time in Athens. I remember the show in Larissa, which some of you were at. We had a great time then. It was a nice hot end of summer night, and we had a long weekend there. Went to the beach and ate really well, and met friends that I know in Greece. So it was really great memories of that show, and we're going to meet people again that we know again today with the band that supported us. We've been on tour with before. So yeah, they were really good memories, and hopefully we'll start playing more often in Greece, because it's always been a really enjoyable show for us.
Today at last, after this many years, we get to play Athens. Very happy. We had an email last week from a fan in Russia who wanted to come and bring all his vinyl down here to Athens. He's outside, isn't he? Yeah. So he's come a long way, brought all his vinyl with him, and he wrote to me and he said, please tell me you're going to sign my vinyl. So he goes home and we forget. That's terrible. So we have reactions like that quite often. It's wonderful. They travel further than us for this show.
Three Russians.
Three Russians.
3 Russians, yes. And
there were 3 times as many albums as that, which is like.
everybody, my name is George Alexander Timur. We came from Russia special for the threshold show. It's perfect band. Say something. We waited many years for this concert.
Right? You want to say anything?
Great band!